President Yar'Adua has adopted the vision and has pledged to realize it through what is described as 7-point agenda. The 7-point agenda is the key economic agenda for the management of the Nigerian economy currently. Unfortunately, many Nigerian policymakers and other stakeholders don't know exactly what the 7-point agenda implies, apart from knowing that the President intends to focus attention on infrastructure, human capital development, security, Niger Delta, land and house ownership, energy and agriculture. Rich Chinese abroad invested in manufacturing. By this, I'm trying to paint a picture where you have a differentiation between direct investment and portfolio investment. Rich Chinese abroad did invest largely in manufacturing. The World Bank, in its 2005 report on remittances and migration, stated that between 1985 and 2000, and year 2000, the Chinese diaspora contributed about 70% of Chinese foreign direct investment, which we call the FDI, foreign direct investment. By 1995, about 59% of the accumulated FDI, that's foreign direct investment in China, came from Chinese nationals in Hong Kong and Macau. Another 9% came from Taiwan, a Chinese territory, remember. The lesson is that China's economic development, starting from the late 1970s, during the reign of Deng Xiaoping, is a product of increased financial and brain power investment of diaspora.
During the question and answer session, Senator Dr. Ken Nnamani provided some insight into events surrounding the failed attempt in 2007 to amend the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I believe, as I'm sure a number of my colleagues still do, that in a democracy, what is more critical is not even the outcome, but the process. The process is more important than the final outcome. What does this mean? I'll take you back to what happened between Al Gore and Bush, President Bush, some time ago in Florida. You know, that matter went all the way to Supreme Court. And because the Americans figured that it has gone through the processes and there's nothing any person can do, even if you don't agree with the final outcome, but he went through the process, and people were satisfied. So, to answer you specifically, we figured that as long as we follow the process, because the Constitution, our Constitution, 1999 Constitution, which we are currently using, has clearly defined method of amending it. So it's circumscribed. The procedure is clearly defined in advance. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4. The steps are there. Sections 8 and 9. You go through it. It tells you if you want to do this, you do this, do this. Yes, during the exercise, it was a challenging moment for us. And we had all the temptations, be it in terms of local currency, foreign currency, oil block, and everything. Everything was made available. Any person who tells you that there was not room for compromise, there was quite a large field. It could be flexible enough. But some of us had the opportunity or the privilege of having some little kids and family, if you like, who sent letters during that historic moment that we should remember that they're out there waiting for us. Whatever we did, it's not only for us, because yes, it was an opportunity to break even at least, if you can't make any profit, but you can break even, if nothing else. But as I said, what encouraged somebody like me, because I presided over it, before the debate started, I invited all the senators to a dinner using a place called Defense Building. That Defense Building, I used it as my guest house. It's a big area. opposite the MTN, if you are familiar with Abuja. And 93 senators attended that very dinner. The person who spoke on behalf of the senators after I spoke was Senator Idi Kuta. He's now late. And he was seconded by Senator Mamora from Lagos State. Now, the legislature is the most democratic of all the arms of government. Why do I say this? Everything you say or you do, you put it to question. That yes or no is voting. Your colleagues are supporting you, or they're saying, no, we don't want to do this, or we want to do this. In the executive branch, executive uses the language, I direct you, you do this. The court will say, I order you. The legislature will say, I urge you. You appeal to your colleagues because you are contemporaries. I told my colleagues that evening, was a Monday, that the following morning, being Tuesday, I would like us to go public as we start the debate about amending our constitution. It's not a party's constitution, it's national, the constitution for the country. That every senator coming should please dress properly because people will be watching us both at home and abroad. Therefore, there was a need for every person to appear in your best. Idi Kuta suggested that if I liked, I should invite CNN, that it is good with them. Mamora echoed a similar sentiment. So as the thing started, there was pressure all over the place that I should clear the gallery, that the cameramen were distorting the proceedings of the parliament. I said, well, one of the persons in the villa said that I am the problem, that they have gotten the report that nnamani is the problem. I said, no, I'm not the problem, I'm a part of the solution, because I will not vote. For each clause, 116 clauses, which I consider to be unwieldy in the first place, had to be, if we had to pass any of the clauses, you must get 73 senators sitting and voting yes. That clause has passed. And since we are 109 senators, there will not be an opportunity for me to participate in the voting process. Why? Because if you take away 73 from 109, you don't have another 73. The only time a presiding officer is allowed to vote, I think it's all over the world like that, is if there's a tie. And since there will not be any tie, I will not vote. Therefore, I'm not a part of the problem. My main problem was to ensure that we follow the procedure, the process, as an umpire. As I said, when it became obvious that there was a need to have me clear the gallery, and one of the guys said, clear the gallery and declare the result. Anybody who doesn't like it can go to court. I said, no, that is not legislative language. What we are going to do is we will have somebody to move a motion that the cameramen and the gallery are beginning to distort what we are doing. So somebody offered to have one of the senators to move the motion. That senator is now a governor.